happening, people? We are here, we are live, we are back, and Manchester United have picked up 3 points in the Premier League. This is not a drill, guys. This is not a drill. Manchester United have picked up 3 points in the Premier League. The last time I was able to say that was about a month and a bit ago against Southampton. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. I know Bournemouth versus Arsenal is on right now, but it's only right we kick off Saturday evening with Mina's State of Mind, so we could talk about that game. And I want to hear what everybody thinks, because I'm seeing people saying don't get carried away, blah, blah, blah. But listen, right now, the only thing that matters is getting points on the board. That is the biggest thing. Momentum, that's how it's built, by getting 3 points and winning games. Manchester United not only scored once, but they scored twice for the first time in a Premier League game since that Southampton game. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe if you are new here. Now, I actually have a bit of a hot take, and I don't think Brentford were as good as maybe a lot of people expected them to be today. They didn't look that amazing. I think the first half was a different story to the second half. I think Manchester United were much better in the second half, and I think in the first 20, 25-ish minutes, or really up until they conceded, Manchester United were just not good. It was as simple as that. Defensively, they looked shaky, couldn't string together consistent passes or a consistent spell of possession, and it just looked like they were clueless. It just looked like it was a clueless first half. But the second half, they came out of the blocks and they hit the ground running. Get Garnacho a goal, and then eventually Hojlund gets the winner. Now, we're going to talk about everyone. We're going to talk about, I would say the factors that really impacted the game today. The Rashfords, the Garnachos, the Hojlunds, the Fernandes, the Casemiro, all of that stuff. We're going to talk about that stuff. And Erik ten Hag has essentially brought himself a couple more days. I don't know. He's brought himself some time. I did notice something different in the way that Man United were the shape that they were in out of possession, which I briefly touched on that in my 5 and 5 that I just dropped as well after the game. So make sure you lot check that out after this stream. But if you've just come through, guys, please hit the like button. The YouTube algorithm is whooping my ass right now. Literally, it is whooping my ass. So if you come in, please wipe your feet, say hi to everyone in the chat, and please be sure to hit the like button. As a small channel, as a growing channel, I don't really get backing from big platforms, etc. So I just have to push the channel myself. So please do hit the like button. And if you're new here, obviously, please do subscribe. What should we start with? Or who should we start with? Let's start with Marcus Rashford, because Marcus Rashford finds himself in some company for Manchester United. He is the 4th player now for Manchester United to have 80+ goals and 40+ assists in the Premier League. He's in some good company, because you know who else is in that list? Wayne Rooney, Ryan Giggs, and Paul Scholes. Marcus Rashford is the 4th, 80+ goals and 40+ assists in the Premier League. Listen, and I'm saying we, but the fan base needs to collectively start putting a little bit of respect on Marcus Rashford's name. Today, I think he had a good performance, just like I do Rasmus Hojlund. I think Garnacho got the goal. First half, I was actually quite disappointed and frustrated with Garnacho, but he switched it up now. Marcus Rashford, the reason why I think I have a bit of praise for him is because he's unconventionally playing in different positions all the time to kind of accommodate for this front line. Rasmus Hojlund will always start up top. Garnacho will always get his favourable side. Marcus Rashford is the one that gets shifted around a lot by Erik ten Hag, and we saw it today in this 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, whatever it was that Manchester United were shaping up in the midfield and in the front line. It was Marcus Rashford that was moving around to accommodate for other people. We saw him through the middle with Hojlund at one point. We saw him heavily on the right-hand side of the pitch. We saw him eventually at some points on the left-hand side. And putting in some great passes. Of course, he got his first Premier League assist of the season today with that ball in to Garnacho. And I think he could have had another assist. There was another moment that I think he could have had an assist. Now, the difference between Marcus Rashford and Garnacho for me is quite telling. Now, obviously, they are 2 different players, 2 different profiles, and also at 2 different points of their career. Marcus Rashford is a lot more of a seasoned professional than Alejandro Garnacho is. But Marcus Rashford now looks like he's changed his game a little bit and altered his game a little bit to try find the pass a lot more often. Whether or not it's because he's on his least favourable side and he can't really go for goal, etc., etc., he is trying to find that pass, and I like him off the right-hand side. I do prefer him off the left-hand side. I do think when he's playing out wide, he's playing a lot. His starting position is a lot more deeper than usual. But today, I think he was good, and like I said, he's joined some esteemed company when it comes to Manchester United's forward players or players in their history. But big up to everyone in the chat. Colin says, I don't know if it's me alone, but Garnacho, Rashford, Hojlund combination is just amazing to watch. Listen, let's get on to Hojlund, because boy, this Hojlund Xerxes debate needs to go to bed. It needs to be put to bed completely, because you want a number 9, or let me say, I want a number 9 who puts the ball in the back of the net. I want a number 9 who scores goals. I will take Hojlund over Joshua Zirkzee any day of the week when it comes to scoring goals, because that's what a striker's job is to do. Your job is to score. I think Rasmus Hojlund's today, his performance today, it was topped off with a goal. But even without the goal, and if Man United had still got 3 points, I would have been happy with Hojlund's performance. I think it was an all-round performance. It took him a bit of time to kind of get into the game, like a lot of the team. But once he got into the game, it was a great performance, like honestly. And that finish that goal he scored, and the way that he finished it, that's, you can see he's elevated his game slightly. He's slightly elevated his game from last season, and I'm calling him a sophomore this year, because that's what he is. Last year it was his rookie year with Manchester United. This year is his second year, it's his sophomore year. What you've learned last season, I need to see building blocks. I need to see that you've built and learned from it, and you've enhanced your game and your quality a little bit. And Rasmus Hojlund today showed that. There was other moments in the game outside of the goal that I think, like I said, it was an all-round performance from him, you know, occupying the centre backs. Not just that, but even some points dropping deep to kind of get involved in the play. What we praised Joshua Zirkzee for doing, he was doing a little bit of that. Like me, I'm old school. I like my number 9 where the centre backs are. I like my striker where the back line is. But I didn't mind him coming deep and linking up and finding the wide players. And I think that is what created a lot of opportunities for Alejandro Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho had so many shots on goal today. I actually lost count. Man United, I think, had 22 shots. I'm sure like 8 or 9 of them came from Garnacho. And some of those moments were created by Rasmus Hojlund. So I was really, really happy with that. And similar to what Colin said, that front line today had a good balance. Like, I was questioning, you know, why Ahmad didn't play, but I know that when Garnacho and Rashford play, it's because of the runs that they can make in behind. It's because of the speed, the power, the pace that they have. And Marcus Rashford, can I say, outside of that speed and stuff, is showing us the tidier side of his game, and we saw that today. Now, I am not getting carried away, because Man United are not back. We are not back, but this is just a small step to the long journey that we have ahead of us. Like I said it in my 5 and 5 that I filmed, that is uploaded now on the channel. I said the most important thing from today's game is getting goals, getting 3 points, and now building momentum off the back of this. That's it. Like, I don't think Brentford were great today in the second half. Like, I don't know what it is. And I feel like coming into this game, a lot of people hyped up Brentford to be this like boogeyman that would obviously punish Manchester United. But I feel like in the second half, Man United absolutely nullified anything they wanted to do. And if anything was going to come for Brentford, I felt like it was going to come from a Man United error, if anything. Like, you look at that backline that United started with and had throughout most of the game. That's a very random backline. Like Lisandro Martinez at left back, Matthijs de Ligt, which I'm going to come to about that situation with Matthijs de Ligt. But de Ligt, Johnny Evans getting a standing ovation at Old Trafford, game in, game out. This guy comes on the pitch and just gives 110% and walks off the pitch like he's done his job. And a big respect goes to Johnny Evans, Diogo Dalot as well, who should have had a goal today. But I'm just looking at today's game and I'm thinking Man United were not good in the first half. They were a lot better in the second half, but equally so Brentford were not that great, especially in the second half, which kind of allowed Manchester United to grow into the game. Man United had so many spells of possession and chances created, chances on goal. I think they created 3 big chances. They had, I think, 11 shots on target, forcing Flecken to make a save. But for me, Rasmus Hojlund was immense. He did everything right today. Like, he did everything that you would want your striker to do. And this is a player that people have been saying, and I have been I said at the end of last season, I want United to partner him with a second striker. And that's what I said. I want him to play in a two-man front line. Today, he showed that when he can or has the opportunity to play in a two-man front line, he can do that. Because if you don't notice today, Man United weren't playing in their traditional 3-1-6 in build-up. I don't know if you lot realize, but out of possession as well, Manchester United were playing a 4-2-3-1 or they were playing a 4-4-2. And they had one player kind of going up to accommodate Rasmus Hojlund and partner him. So they were playing a 4-4-2. Whether it was sometimes it was Garnacho's, sometimes it was Bruno Fernandes, at some points it was Marcus Rashford. They were alternating. And I think that's the most important thing about a front line that can interchange, because you can change them around throughout passages of the game, every 5, every 10 minutes, and you won't feel a big kind of dip in the way that United are playing. And if you do, you could just go back to what you were doing. It was as simple as that. Maybe we made them look bad because the players all collectively turned up their intensity. That's one thing I cannot fault Man United for today, is the intensity that and the level of intensity that they persisted with throughout the game. Now, you lot know, for like a lot of the time, Man United will play a high intense game for 20, 30, 60 minutes and then drop off. Today, it looked like the reverse of that, where Man United were looking a bit sluggish in the first 15-ish, 20 minutes. And then slowly kind of began to grow into the game, despite going 1-0 down. Now, that goal that they scored, I can't blame the officiating for it. I've seen people blaming the officiating, saying, why has De Ligt been told to go off? But if you look at it, let me find it here. If you look at it here, guys, yeah, this is him getting patched up by the medical team. That was by the time they got that corner, by the time Brentford got the corner, that was the third time that he was bleeding from the same place. The medical team didn't do a proper job of patching him up, clearly. And the referee is just doing what you're meant to do. Someone is bleeding. I'm sorry. Someone is bleeding. You're going to tell them, go off. Because you can't play, especially if there's blood all over your head. And I was laughing because I was like, bro, they got no bandages? Like, every time they were sending him back on, they were just like wiping his head down and then telling him, yeah, go back on the pitch. And I was just like, bro, what the hell is going on with this medical stuff? And I made a joke on Twitter saying, did Sir Jim Ratcliffe cut the costs for the medical team where they can't afford bandages? Like, is that what is going on? But that was a set piece that United conceded with their centre-back not there, and Brentford's centre-back scored. Like, I can't overanalyze that goal. I really can't. I really can't. Now, one thing for me as well, that is this guy here. I'm not talking about Rasmus Hojlund. I'm talking about Bruno Fernandes. I don't know what is wrong with Bruno. I don't know what's wrong with Bruno. I know he got an assist and it was a good one, back heel to Rasmus Hojlund. That's why Rasmus Hojlund in the celebration is kind of pointing at Bruno, because he got him the goal. But outside of the final third, I don't know what goes through Bruno's mind sometimes. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Every time I watch United play and I watch the decisions that he makes, I'm just like, bro, Bruno, what are you doing? Man United had a corner. I can't remember if it was first half or second half, but Man United had a corner, and it was an outswinger. It gets headed out, and instead of just to recycle, go back out wide to Eriksen to put a ball in or something, this guy on the volley just wallops it into the crowd. Absolutely wallops it into the crowd. And for me, I was just, that moment, I was just like, come on, Bruno, you do this random stuff, but then he just turns it up a notch and gets an assist out of nowhere, and suddenly everybody is singing his praise. Suddenly everyone is singing his praise. When I look at Manchester United, yeah, and I look at the erraticness in possession, it stems from decisions that I think Bruno Fernandes makes. When I look at the way that Manchester United play, in particular, in possession, and I see that there is a lack of passages of play, I look at Bruno Fernandes, and this is why a couple seasons ago I said, I think it was in Erik ten Hag's first season, towards the end of it, I said that if Ineos or Qatar come in, I said whoever the new ownership comes in, if Bruno Fernandes doesn't simplify his play and doesn't become more responsible, they should look to ship him out. And ESPN, Mark Ogden and ESPN dropped an article, I think it was last night, that kind of confirmed to me how Bruno Fernandes ended up staying at Manchester United. They said that Bruno Fernandes wanted to leave. He wanted to leave. He was fed up of Manchester United's hierarchy, the decisions being made, and the fact that United were not competing. And Manchester United's hierarchy panicked and just gave him a fat contract, which he had to accept because he's not going to walk away from such money. That was it. He ended up with a new contract because Manchester United panicked, not because he wanted to stay, not because, Man United sold a plan and a vision to him. It's because Man United ownership and hierarchy panicked and gave him a new deal. Now, they knew probably that they couldn't go out and buy a new number 10. You're looking at the world of number 10s right now, yeah? You're looking at Jamal Musiala. You're looking at Florian Wirtz. You're looking at Cole Palmer. You're looking at Danny Olmo. You're looking at KDB and all of those guys, Odegaard, etc. And then you're looking at the erraticness of what Bruno does. Like I said, in the final third, sometimes he makes the right decision. And you saw that today with the assist that he got. But also, I wouldn't put it past Bruno Fernandes to try and do what he did today in the middle of the pitch, in United's own half. I wouldn't put it past him to try a back heel and, think that he can get away with it. I wouldn't put that past him. And for me, I just get so irritated sometimes watching it because I'm like, how is this sustainable? I'm watching players like Marcus Rashford adapting the way that he plays to kind of fit the narrative or the box that the manager is trying to put him in. You got Marcus Rashford, traditionally a more advanced forward, an inside forward, playing a lot more deeper with a far more deeper starting position in comparison to what he's used to. He's adjusted to that. And then you're seeing Bruno Fernandes just being Bruno Fernandes. It just doesn't make sense to me. He makes some irrational decisions when trying to score. He could be trying too hard to get a Hollywood goal rather than being a career. I think that is the thing. I think a lot of it comes from when United are chasing a goal. He makes these outrageously erratic decisions that tend to hinder the team in possession rather than helping them. And maybe it's the passion that I don't know. I don't want to put it down to, oh my God, he's so passionate that he really wants to get a goal and get the team a goal and, help the team get back into it. But that is not how you do it. That is not how you do it. And this is a point in his career that I think he can't change. He can't change. So it's one or the other. It's either United change to adapt to him or United sync with him. It's honestly one or the other. And maybe it's because he can't, players like Bruno Fernandes or players that play in that role cannot go a game or two or three without having a goal or assist, because everyone's going to look at them and be like, what are you benefiting? But this is why I say eye test is so important, because today, for example, Casemiro did not get a goal, did not get an assist, but I thought he was immense. I thought he had a good contribution to the game. And that's why I always say that sometimes it's not about the stats. Sometimes you really need to watch the game and look at the impact from the players in the game. Saliba sent off. He's in my FPL. Oh my God, I think he's in my FPL too. Is he? I think he is. Oh shit. What did he get sent off for? Yeah, he's in my FPL, man. Oh, I'm cooked. In my FPL, guys, you lot are going to laugh at me. I triple captain Haaland because they're playing Wolves. So I thought, you know what? Let me triple captain him. I might regret it though. What did Saliba get sent off for? Straight red. VAR seemed to have looked at him. Last man pulling the player back. Fair enough. But honestly, I think he's not a bad player. But with all the chaos in our team, he can't shine here. Same as Pogba. I think it's disrespectful to ever mention Pogba in the same sentence as Bruno. I actually think it's very, very disrespectful. Just quickly on Erik ten Hag, do you think he's brought himself some time now with Manchester United? I think he's brought himself a little bit of time. I think he's brought himself a little bit of time. I won't say it's a lot of time, and I won't say he's earned the right to stay. But football is all about results, right? And when you're fighting for your job, you're trying to keep your job. It's all results driven. It's as simple as that. If you get the results, that will buy you more and more time to stay in the job to really try to figure it out. I don't think you should be figuring it out in the job, but I think you should be learning on the job. That is always the most important thing, in my opinion. But you're looking ahead now. You're looking at I think we've got Fenerbahce, we've got Leicester in the Carabao Cup. I think we've got West Ham as well. Man United have a favourable run of games. And that's why I said it was important to kick off this weekend with 3 points and a win and some goals, because momentum will help you. If you get a win, you go into the next game feeling a bit more confident. Now, I am worried going into Fenerbahce for multiple reasons. Number one is Jose Mourinho is the king of shithousery. Number two, it's away from home. Number three, Man United have not been great in Europe under Erik ten Hag for the last 2 seasons. They got 1 win, in 10 games. And that was a 1-0 win against Copenhagen around this time last year. So for those reasons, going into the Fenerbahce game, I'm not that confident. But I'm feeling a bit more confident because Manchester United are coming off the back of a 2-1 win with a second half of intensity and some improvements from multiple different players. Now, one thing about Erik ten Hag, I actually think he does not want Ugarte. I kind of had that inkling. I kind of had that inkling coming into the end of the transfer window when United signed him. But I absolutely believe now he does not want Ugarte anywhere near his team because he gave Ugarte poverty minutes today. And the fact that what blows my mind is that Erik ten Hag said when we brought Ugarte that he was not up to scratch of what the Premier League is. He's not really up to the tempo of the Premier League. But then a couple of games later, you play him against Spurs. So for me, is which one is it? Is either he's not ready for the Premier League and you're going to ease him in game by game, or you just play him. Now, personally, I think the midfield balance today with Casemiro and Eriksen worked immensely. It was a very good balance. It helped Manchester United in transition. It helped Manchester United defensively, as well as having a kind of dictator or a tempo builder in Eriksen on the pitch. But why did Manchester United spend £51 million on a midfielder that can't crack the starting 11? That is one thing I don't get. Given the fact that Kobbie Mainoo's out injured, for me, it just kind of blows my mind. It honestly, it leaves me a little bit, I can't lie, it leaves me a little bit confused sometimes. I'm looking at it thinking, okay, is this guy ever going to play in the Premier League? Is he going to have a run of games under Erik ten Hag? And I know Erik ten Hag has spoken about losing Scott McTominay. I know that. But equally, I'm thinking, well, you can't play Christian Eriksen and Casemiro every single game. That's not realistic. It's not going to work, especially not Christian Eriksen. Casemiro is one blunder away from the whole fan base just turning on him again. So would you rather him be kind of frozen, i.e. frozen, and he hasn't played much and he's not sharp, and then you need him and you throw him in? I don't know. I looked at today and I thought, okay, well, Manchester United's midfield balance is probably at best when it's Casemiro and Eriksen if there's no Kobbie. But outside of that, what is the balance looking like? What is the midfield balance looking like, if any of you guys know? Like, this here today, this showed me how much this win kind of meant to these guys. Because when Hojlund scored, Ten Hag jumped and went over, like, high-fived all the coaching staff and started hugging Ruud van Nistelrooy. Like, I think Ruud van Nistelrooy has been working with Rasmus Hojlund, but I think we have to keep in mind, I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that Ruud van Nistelrooy is not a striker coach. He was not brought in like Benny McCarthy was to be the coach that works with the strikers. He's an assistant coach, which means he covers all bases of the training ground. He doesn't just work with strikers. So when people talk about Garnacho's inability to finish consistently, or Rashford, or Hojlund, or Xerxes, or whoever, why do people like to blame Ruud van Nistelrooy? That's not Ruud van Nistelrooy's job. His job is to be the second in command to Erik ten Hag. Yeah, he probably works on finishing in the training ground, but he also works on defensive stuff. He probably works on passing drills. He probably works on out of possession drills. He doesn't solely work on finishing drills with the strikers. So when I'm criticizing Garnacho for maybe not finishing properly or finishing well, I'm criticizing him. I'm not criticizing the coach that apparently is there to do all that stuff. But just on these two, obviously they got booked as well for the De Ligt thing. When De Ligt came off and United conceded, they were going crazy on the touchline, and they both got booked. But this, for me, just kind of shows how important the win is for both of them. I genuinely feel like it just shows how important the win was for the both of them. Now, the biggest topic of discussion tends to be, obviously, oh, if Ten Hag gets sacked, it's going to be Ruud, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. Let's just focus on the games to come. That's it. Mina, I'll keep it 100 with you. Ugarte is an Ineos L. I don't know why people hyped up that signing. Doesn't add physicality, pace, or technical player, mid player. Listen, I had this debate. Shout out to KG, because I had this debate with KG on his channel. And I remember I got cooked by everyone and him on his channel, because I went on there and said, I don't want Ugarte. I said, bring me Zubimendi. I said, bring me Zubimendi because that's what Manchester United need. Man United need a technical midfielder. They don't need a dog. They don't need someone that is just going to woof woof all around the pitch and just chase after people. That's it. Like, I don't want that. What I want in midfield is a Carrick-esque player. I want someone who, under pressure with the ball at their feet, can change the game for Manchester United in midfield and doesn't have to rely on being a dirty player or being this monster in midfield, a destroyer. And can I just say quickly on the topic of destroyer, I don't even think Ugarte is an elite destroyer. Like when you put the term destroyer, I don't think, ooh, Ugarte. And I never thought that. Because if Man United wanted him, they would have brought him from Sporting. They would have brought him from Sporting when he was available. But he wasn't on Man United's radar like that. And suddenly, what's his name? His agent, Mendes. That guy, Man United need to keep Mendes away from Carrington. That growl was terrifying. Sorry, my bad. How did he go from wanting Frankie de Jong to Ugarte? They're so different. He didn't want Ugarte. And you know what? For once, I actually agreed with Erik ten Hag on that. I know he never actually came out publicly saying that he didn't want Ugarte, but I think it's very obvious that he never wanted Ugarte from time he was dying to hold on to Scott McTominay. And I know when he doesn't want a player, he uses this thing of easing them into the team when they come in. Amrabat, just another example. Another player that he didn't want it and the club went and signed. Ugarte, another example. When players are wanted by Erik ten Hag, he will put them in the starting lineup when they're available. Mazraoui, De Ligt, Rasmus Hojlund, etc. He will use them and utilize them. But Ugarte, he never wanted him. And I'm not going to say I've seen enough of Ugarte, but when I watched him against Barnsley, I said, wow, is this what we spent 51 million on? This can't be it. I thought, even though it was just Barnsley and United won 7-0, okay, cool. I thought, this can't be real. Because even against Barnsley, you're telling me you still look ass. Then that in itself is a red flag. Now, I'm not talking about Ugarte today because he came on in the last couple minutes. Like, that's not really a wide, it's not a wide kind of thing for me to go off. It's not a lot of minutes for me to judge him off. But I never said that. I don't need him to play 10 games in a row for Manchester United to know that he's not the type of profile that Manchester United maybe needed in midfield. I said this time and time again. Zubimendi is the guy that I wanted. And before that, last season, I said Man United should go and sign Amadou Onana. If you want a physical person and you have Amadou Onana right in front of you in the Premier League, how can you not go for him? That's what I don't understand. And I remember I went to Man United versus Everton last season. And as I was filming my fan view with Flex, Onana walks past behind. And he's walking past and I'm like, oh shit, that's Onana. And I'm like, Onana, come to Manchester United. And he just walks off. And I was getting cooked in the comments. People were like, oh, why would you want him to come to United? Blah, 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 blah. Exhibit A. By the way, I think Onana and Ugarte were about the same price. I think Aston Villa brought him for 50 million. So it's about the same price. He looked out of his depth against FC20 as well. He did. Now, one guy, like I said, that I don't want to give too much criticism to. I actually want to praise him today. This doesn't really look like him. But Casemiro. Casemiro was number 1 today for duels 1, chances created, headed clearances, tackles 1, and fouls 1. Today, he was immense. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because when he's shit, we get onto him. So when he's good, I'm going to praise him and I'm going to give him some credit. And that's why I said the midfield balance for me today was important. The most important thing today was Erik ten Hag got the midfield balance right. Simple as that. He got the midfield balance right with Casemiro and Eriksen. And I don't want to say that it's because, I don't know, was Brentford just that bad, guys? Was Brentford just that bad, or was United just that good in the second half? Because both teams look like a shadow of themselves in the halves. Man United didn't look that great in first half, but they looked way better in the second half. And Brentford, it was the other way around. They looked good in the first half and they looked ass in the second half. So let me know if you guys think what is it? Who is it? Who was crap and who was good? But listen, be sure to hit the like button if you've just come through, guys. Listen, I said it at the beginning of the stream, but the YouTube algorithm is absolutely killing me right now. As a small channel, it is absolutely killing me. So if you've come through now, please do hit the like button as well. And if you are new here, please do subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you can send in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or you can join the Minions gang, aka the membership club. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel. Like I said, as a small channel, it helps. It goes a long way. You can't even imagine. My channel doesn't get pushed by big channels. I don't ask people to promote my channels. I go on other platforms and I don't ask them to promote my channel. So a lot of it, the PR, is done by myself. So make sure you lot like and subscribe after the stream as well. Make sure you lot go and check out 5 in 5. I did my 5 in 5, dropped it for 5 things we learned after the Brentford game in 5 minutes. It only takes 5 minutes. So just go watch it, go like it, go comment. And like I said, algorithm, it helps. Eriksen is good for some games, bad for others. I don't know what fans expect. You know what I expect? I expect him not to play a lot. That's what I expect. I feel like you would get the best out of Christian Eriksen if you do not play him and run him into the ground. How many games in a row now has he played for Manchester United? I've lost count. He would flourish if he doesn't have to play a lot of games in a row at Manchester United. I think, especially in games like today, where the opponent's midfield didn't really look that good, it allows him to play better. It allows him to look a lot better. Now, Casemiro is injured. I hope it's nothing too serious. Otherwise, Erik ten Hag might be forced to play the guy that he doesn't want to play, aka Ugarte. What did you guys think about Lisandro Martinez at left back? Because I'm not sold. Lisandro Martinez at left back, I am not sold. Let me zoom in on this. I am not sold about Lisandro Martinez at left back. I don't know what it is, guys. I don't know what it is, but Lisandro Martinez at left back, I'm not liking it. I'm really not liking it. And I know that Manchester United didn't really have a choice because Mazraoui was not 100%. So I understand that the only other option would have been Johnny Evans at left back. But I look at Lich at left back and I'm just like, he just looks very unconventional, if that makes sense. And people will come and say, oh, but he played a couple games at left back at Ajax. I don't care. I don't care. I didn't like what I saw today. It got the job done, and that's fair enough. But I don't want to see it on a consistent or regular basis. I'm already nervous about Lisandro Martinez when he's playing at centre-back. You know, I'm already nervous in that kind of position. So I don't really want to see that at left-back. Meanwhile, sure, yeah, I don't know what's happening. Like, honestly, I do not know what's happening with Luke Shaw. And I don't really care anymore. I don't really care because I don't expect for Manchester United to ever get anything out of Luke Shaw again. Like, I know that sounds sad to say, but I don't, like, Luke Shaw at his best might have been an amazing left back, but really and truly, we need to accept now that he's not at that level, and his body has been through so much in terms of injuries, etc., that it probably physically cannot handle playing football at a regular, consistent level. I don't even think his body can handle it. So he might be one of those players that we see retire early or go and play in the most randomest leagues. Like Kenyan League, be careful. You might see Luke Shaw coming out there next season. Indian League, be careful. You might see Luke Shaw coming out there next season. I don't think Luke Shaw, with the level of injuries that he's having and how much he can't contribute to your team, I don't think a team is going to want to take a risk on that, especially with the wages that he's on. I think United are the only team to pay him such wages whilst he sits not even in the medical room. He's probably at home rehabilitating. So I don't know, man. You lot, I'm telling you now, just lower your expectations with Luke Shaw. Don't expect him to be back anytime soon. And most importantly, when we talk about left back options, let's not include Luke Shaw in that, because I just don't see him coming back until like February. And even then, that's me being nice. And that's me being optimistic that maybe he'll be fit by February. But if he's not fit by February, guys, that will be exactly 1 year since he last played a game for Manchester United. He hasn't played for Manchester United since February. And I think what makes it look even worse is the fact that he went to the Euros with England. I think had he not gone with England to the Euros and not, taking all these injections to get fit and play through all this injury and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think a lot of fans would be as mad as they are. But it's the fact that he did all of that to get fit and play in a final to then report back injured to Carrington. I think that is probably... And you know what? Jim Ratcliffe even said it. What did he say when they were wishing luck to all the Man United players? Yeah, don't pull your hamstring. First thing he does when he comes back to Carrington, report back with a hamstring injury. And also, can I just say, his injury issue is not really been disclosed much, I think, by Manchester United. I think when Erik ten Hag is asked about him in the press conferences, he says, oh, he's had a minor setback, but they're not really talking about what exactly is the injuries that he has. Is it his hamstring? Has he broken a bone? Is it his ankle? Is it his knee? What is it? Is it his thigh? Is it his groin? Is it his buttocks? What the hell is the injury problem? Because nobody's mentioning what it is. When it was Malacia, we all knew what it was. We knew it was his knees and we knew he had surgery. But with Luke Shaw, it started off with him having a hamstring injury. And then the fact is now it's just not disclosed. It's not disclosed. And when I think you are hiding something and you're not disclosing what the injury is, I think that in itself is a red flag. Because if you don't remember, Man United did this with Mason Mount. Man United did this with Mason Mount last season, who missed a heap of games, which is why I don't expect Luke Shaw to come back anytime soon. I really don't expect him to come back anytime soon because he's missed so much games, and the fact that they're not disclosing it, similarly to Mason Mount last season, which means it's a problem that is a lot bigger than maybe what they thought it would have been. You lot are killing me saying he's pregnant. You guys are actually killing me. But someone in the chat says Ridwan says we have to get a left back in January. It should be the first signing. I don't even know if Man United can afford to buy a left back. I don't even know. And you know what's so funny? They had a left back and they shipped him out. Alvaro Fernandes. What could have been? What could have been? Alvaro Fernandes, one player that I'm actually so mad that never got a chance at Manchester United because I think he was always good enough. If you don't remember me on UV 2 seasons ago, I was propping him up and gassing him up when he was at Preston North End. And I said, this guy deserves a chance at Manchester United. He deserves an opportunity. I remember talking about him and Ethan Laird, who are both out on loan at the same time. And I said, out of the two of them, I think Alvaro Fernandes is more likely to be a bench or rotation or starter for Manchester United. But now Manchester United are monitoring him after selling him. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But if Man United do go out in January and sign someone, I will be very shocked. I'm not gonna lie. A part of me doesn't think that, but clubs are a bit reluctant to do business in January. Sorry, they're a bit reluctant. And Man United haven't really signed anybody per se. I think it was of impact since Bruno, right? It's not really been anyone else. We had a few loan spells with Weghorst and Sabitzer, but since, under Erik ten Hag, United haven't really signed a permanent person in January. So I don't know why you lot think this will be any different. I really don't know why you guys seem to think this could be any different. Hojlund, we never signed Hojlund we never signed Hojlund in January. Are you okay? We did not sign Hojlund in January. But just quickly on Erik ten Hag before we kind of wrap up the stream. How do United do against Fenerbahce? What has Erik ten Hag said in his... You don't know, I hate reading Erik ten Hag's post-match comments. I do not like reading his post-match comments. But let's go and see what Erik ten Hag has said post-match after the game. He said on the De Ligt incident, Erik ten Hag said it was dry blood. He was already treated for it. We don't understand why he was sent off. It was a huge moment because Brentford were very good from corners and we were missing one of our best headers of the ball. He spoke about Rasmus Hojlund and he said he was very good. He combined well and that was very important today. We know he's clinical and that is what the team has been lacking in the first weeks of the season. Is that an indirect at Joshua Zirkzee, guys? Is that an indirect at Joshua Zirkzee? Because Zirkzee came on today and, again, gets a chance but can't put the ball in the back of the net. But Erik ten Hag has essentially said it's what the team has been lacking in the first few weeks of the season. And if you guys remember, Joshua Zirkzee has had a heap of chances. Joshua Zirkzee has had a heap of chances starting before Hojlund came back. So maybe that's a sly dig. You lot are laughing at the dry blood. Yeah, it wasn't dry blood. It was literally dripping from his head. It was literally dripping from his head. No disrespect to Xerxes, different profile of players. I agree with him 100%. The way he speaks about his own players and communicates to them is so bad, says Show. Rasmus Hojlund said, working very close with Ruud van Nistelrooy is a very big step for me, and he's doing a great job. I think quite a few people have noticed today that Hojlund looks like he's been working on his game. And that's why I said in his sophomore year, he has to build on last season and eliminate things that didn't work and kind of increase the things that did work. He also said, I was trying not to fight too much with the defenders. I was trying to focus on getting the ball to my feet. I think that's the biggest part. I think that's the biggest part that I noticed today as well, is that he was doing less of that fighting nonsense and more so of the more domesticated stuff. Sophomore year, you watch too much NBA. I do watch too much NBA. Why isn't it a dig at Rashford and Garnacho then? Because Rashford and Garnacho have been fine in the back of the net. Xerxes hasn't scored since the first week of the Premier League. If I'm not wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But Joshua Xerxes has not scored since the first week of the Premier League when he scored that winner against Fulham. And since then, let's be honest, guys, he's had a heap of chances. You can see Xerxes wasn't clinical at Bologna. I mean, they also miss sitters as well. Of course, I know, but I just think that's more. I think that's aimed at. The reason why I think it's aimed more so at Xerxes is because Garnacho and Rashford started today. Both of them got a goal involvement as well. Eric Ten Hag says, don't overrate this result. It's just a win. We have to win every game. I like this. He actually said something non-delusional. I just feel like, you know what's annoying about Ten Hag? When we win, it's like he's humble. And then when we lose, he's arrogant. Like, it should be the other way around. And by the way, let me ask you guys what you think. This Thomas Frank talk to Manchester United, what do you guys think of it? Because I don't like it. I personally don't think Man United should go for a manager like Thomas Frank. That's just my opinion. You lot remember last season, my preference was De Zerbi, and if it wasn't De Zerbi, it was Nagelsmann. I was never keen on Thomas Tuchel, and I'm not keen on Thomas Frank. Furthermore, anyone called Thomas, keep them away. Thomas Frank isn't proven. What kind of manager is it that Man United need? Do they need a proven manager? Because I think Man United need a proven manager. They need a proven winner, a proven philosophy, and a proven style of play that is effective at top flight football. Simple as that. You can have this coaching method and idea and all of that stuff, but really and truly, Thomas Frank, I don't think is the kind of manager that Man United should be looking at. Now, don't get me wrong. I think he's a good job, but also can I say the step up from Brentford to United is huge. It's huge. And that's why I wouldn't have been keen on Graham Potter. Even. Because I said this, I liked him at Brighton, but at Chelsea, it's either sink or swim, and he's sunk. Man United is forget sink or swim. You forget sinking, you will flipping drown and choke on the water. KG, I think, said we should have got Tuchel. I disagree. I think he said it because England got him. I think England and Thomas Tuchel's a good appointment. Like, this whole xenophobic madness that I've been seeing about Thomas Tuchel becoming the manager of England is ridiculous. The fact that England have even appointed a manager like Thomas Tuchel shows to me that they want to win. That proves to me that they're looking ahead at the I think his contract is until the World Cup. So for me, that proves that between now, they're trying to win Nations League, they're trying to win World Cup, they're trying to win something because they've appointed a serial cup winner in my eyes anyways. I don't think Thomas Tuchel at international level is a bad appointment. At Manchester United, I just was never keen on the idea of Thomas Tuchel. Like, personally, I think he's a good coach, and it's funny because I've got friends who are Chelsea fans who will die for him. They love him. They will literally die for him. But I'm just like, what is it? Yeah, it's not just Gary Neville though. It was everyone. Like, Sky Sports had a field day with all the interviews they were doing, bro. Jamie Carragher, all these random Englishmen talking about English. The English job is for Englishmen. Where has that gotten you? But it'll be very interesting to see. A big part of me thinks Man United might end up with Ruben Amorim. a big part of me thinks that Man United will end up with Ruben Amorim, because I don't see Nagelsmann leaving Germany. I mean, unless Germany don't qualify for the World Cup, that's the only way I see him leaving. But I don't see him leaving. I don't see De Zerbi leaving Marseille after 1 year in the project. I think Pogba is going to go join Marseille. That's another hot take. I think Pogba might go and join Marseille. I think him going back to France might be what works for him before he kind of heads off to Saudi to play in Saudi Arabia. But I don't think De Zerbi is going to leave. And I look at all the other managers, Inzaghi, you know, David Ornstein said he can't even speak English. And that could be far-fetched. A part of me thinks Ruben Amorim will end up with Manchester United next summer. Of course, you look at what other managers are available. Hansi Flick is at Barca. Xavi is available. Xabi Alonso, I don't think, is coming to the Premier League. I think if Xabi Alonso would have come to the Premier League, he would have took the Liverpool job. So I think he's waiting for that Real Madrid job. Zidane, I don't think is coming back into coaching anytime soon. I think Zidane is probably just waiting it out for the France job. But even then, is he ever going to get it? I don't know. So really, you look at all the managers that are available and you think, I don't know. I think United might need to look for a Maresca. So what, a manager from the Championship? I mean, that would have been a McKenna. If that was last season, it would have been a manager like McKenna, who I don't think is doing the worst job with Ipswich. I don't think he's doing a horrible job. I think when I watch Ipswich, you can clearly identify the fingerprints of a manager on that team. And I think that's what also United need. United need a manager that will come in and you can identify immediately what the manager has done, what the manager has implemented. I don't buy this idea that it takes a season or two to play the way that the manager wants you to play. I think it's definitely from game one, you can see what the manager has been working on in 3-4 training sessions with the team. So that will definitely be interesting. But for now, Erik ten Hag remains the manager of Manchester United. He remains in the dugout. He's, like I said earlier, I think he's brought himself some time with this win. And even like he said himself, this is not a game to kind of get too ahead of yourselves. He's saying, he's telling us, you lot, calm down. This is just 3 points. This is another day in the office, and another 3 points in the bag. So Christian Falk mentioned Sebastian Hoeneß, Nagelsmann, and Edin Terzic. Edin Terzic is the new, or with the former Dortmund manager, right? I don't think he's the Dortmund manager now, but I think he was the former manager. I would have to research about him. I can't lie. I have watched Dortmund a bit last season. But if that is an actual list, I'm looking at that list and I'm thinking, gives me Nagelsmann or nothing. Like, I'm not even joking. Nagelsmann or nothing if I'm looking at that list. But big up to everyone listening, guys. Be sure to hit the like button if you've just come through, or if you've been here this whole time and you forgot to hit the like button, be sure to hit the like button. I'll be back tomorrow with, what do we have coming up? FC 25, make United great again. And we'll have some content coming throughout the next week. Of course, it's match day with Manchester United on Thursday. So we'll have daily dose of Mina throughout the week with any Manchester United news, and then some build-up stuff. We'll have Mina's state of mind after the game next week as well. And we'll have some content tomorrow as well. But like I said, guys, be sure to hit the like button. If you've been here all this time or if you've just come through, be sure to subscribe as well. I mentioned it before, the algorithm is killing me right now on YouTube. So if you are here, please, 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 hit the like button. I have just dropped in the chat as well the link to my newest video. If you go over there, just watch it, like and comment. That will help me so much and it will help the algorithm. I'm trying to get to 7K by the end of the month and then hopefully 10K by my birthday in February. But listen, guys, I'm out. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Man United, 3 points. On to the next game. It is what it is. I'm out, guys. Peace.